Bhavin, obviously you've come today, you want to talk about mental health, a bit more of a focus on the South Asian community, right? So like, what was your reasoning for that, besides obviously being South Asian yourself?
Yeah, so essentially what it is, it's I've got a lot of people that have kind of confided in me, that, you know, when they've gone through a bad patch, they've, you know, I've had to be there, and I've seen what they've gone through. And it's like, the most common answer I get from a lot of young Asians who are like my age is, oh, we're embarrassed. And it's like, they're embarrassed that they've got mental health. And you see all these campaigns and stuff, and it's like, you know, the help is out there, but I think it's the upbringing as well from the Asian community. I know, like, you know, I've personally got, you know, Asian parents, like many other people. The upbringing, the moral is like, you might be seen or deemed weak, you know, for having mental health. And I think, you know, it's not something embarrassing. It's more of a plead for help. Do you know what I mean? And it's, you know, when I've spoken to people, they said that, oh, we can't talk to, you know, our family or our friends, etc. But I don't think at all that, you know, it's something to be embarrassed about. In one sense, you should be proud of it in the factor that, you know, you're going to overcome it and you're going to get stronger from it. But yeah, in the South Asian community, I just think a lot of people need to open up.
So why do you think it is that, so obviously you've said about, oh, they feel embarrassed, they feel this type of way. What do you think it is about the upbringing in not every, but quite a lot of South Asian households that leads to people actually feeling like, I'm not comfortable to go to my family about this, I feel embarrassed about it?
You know what, I'm glad you touched up on that, actually, because it's like, I feel like they can't confide in their parents, in the sense that they can't open up to them and say, oh, look, mom or dad, I'm going through this, or I've got this problem or that problem, or I've got this on my mind, because it's like, I feel like they're going to get judged by their parents. That's how a lot of Asians feel, especially, like, you know, younger Asians. They might think, oh, all they want to do is make their parents proud. But then if they go to them and say, right, I've got this problem or that problem, they don't want to be seen weak by their parents because of that mentality. Yeah, you know. And I wouldn't even say it's just, well, South Asian parents. I'd say any parent would be like, you know, in the sense that they don't want nothing wrong with their child. They don't want them to go through anything. But then it's like, how can a child know that?
And it's a shame, because I don't think it's necessarily the parents' fault, because obviously they were once children as well and have probably gone through similar sort of things when they were younger as well, but didn't get the help that they needed, and then it's sort of like a cycle. But I think it's a good thing that I think our generation is sort of like across the board kind of like sort of spreading the message and being like, okay, no, like, we can talk about this, it's okay, like, even if you can't necessarily go to your parents, there are people that you can go to, that sort of thing. I think that's the thing, like you mentioned as well before, like, oh, the help is out there. I think that's maybe a problem with the help that's out there, is that it doesn't necessarily consider why people might not be coming to get help, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it might not be as specific as thinking, okay, there's going to be people from brown households or any family of colour, that there are certain cultures where you just don't talk about this sort of thing and you feel embarrassed, and just putting out a notice saying, oh, mental health help available here isn't going to get people to actually go and take it. But we're going to talk a bit more about like how you can actually get help later on. But we also wanted to discuss as well about the various factors that are actually causing these issues regarding mental health. Now, obviously, not everything is as simple as, oh, this thing happened, therefore you have, for example, depression or anxiety or whatever. But there are certainly some things that are common in invoking a certain level of like trauma for people, especially within South Asian households. So like, what do you think are some quite common things that are factors that contribute towards that?
I think it's a range of factors. I mean, when you look at the outlook of mental health, it's like, it's never one thing that's pinpointed to mental health. You know, like, for example, a breakup with a partner, you know, that's never going to be the main factor of, oh, this is why this person has depression, this is why this person feels insecurities, etc. I mean, causing factors, touching on personal things, it's probably like my own performance. I mean, I'm very OCD when it comes to my mixes of my music. So like, if I feel like I'm not doing good enough in the industry, or I'm not, you know, generating a unique style or anything like that to make me stand out to other DJs, then, you know, that was a causing factor for myself, because I thought, well, what am I doing wrong? But, you know, I think within the whole community as a whole, you know, causing factors, they are like, you know, your breakups with, you know, your partner, you might not be succeeding, you might have a loss in the family, etc. You know, I mean, I've seen an incline of suicides in the Asian community as well. I mean, you know, we were working together at this time when the guy from Leeds, DP, when he passed away, unfortunately, and seeing something like that with someone the same age as me, and I was like, he must have been in a really, really bad place. But what he posted on Instagram as well, he was telling other people, if you're going through depression, or if you're going through what he's going through, then this is the help out that's out there. But unfortunately, he never got that help. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, it's crazy seeing all these inclines of, you know, suicides and the mental health, you know, going up and up and up. But, you know, I think the main cause and the main factor is literally just not opening up to people. I think if people open up, if they come away from the shy factor of literally, I've got mental health, then, you know, maybe we'll see a decline in so many suicides or so many factors of mental health.
It's interesting as well, because I was going to ask whether you think COVID has played any part in it. However, you would think COVID, people obviously being locked inside the house, being like forced to be closer with their families, you'd think that would maybe have the effect of actually leading to people maybe opening up a bit more. But clearly, I don't think that's been the case, because I think we've seen that reports have shown that mental health has dramatically, the quality of it has decreased. Like, the quality of mental health has like decreased massively over the course of COVID. So like, yeah, clearly it's had a negative effect on people. Of
course. I mean, you know, I know you guys, when we was in lockdown, it was hard for me because my lifestyle's always out.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, that affects different people different way. I think I'm the exact opposite.
Yeah, literally, I'm always out the house. I'm a social creature, so having the lack of social interaction with the people I normally see on a weekly basis to seeing them literally probably on FaceTime, it's not the same. You're not getting that interaction, you're not getting that banter, you're not having that atmosphere in the same room. But it's like, you know, it drove me around the bend, spending all day with my parents. You know, I love them to bits, but
no offense if you're listening.
Yeah, no offense, mum and dad, if you're listening, but there's only so much you can handle. And I think, you know, it's like my lifestyle's very, very different to their lifestyle. So, you know, I mean, it's probably a bit easier for them to handle it. When I was going through, you know, that patch where I was just stuck indoors all day and the sun was blasting outside, and I was just like, please, I should literally be DJing right now at someone's wedding. But yeah, I mean, I reckon COVID did have one of the biggest increases for mental health. I mean, how much can you do at home when you do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that is massively restricted. But then, in a way, do you feel like now that we're sort of like on the other side of the pandemic, touch wood, and now
third wave not pending,
but do you feel like now that we're on that side of it, people have sort of maybe learnt maybe different coping mechanisms for how to deal with that sort of thing, and how to sort of deal with not necessarily being able to carry out life as you want to, sort of thing?
I reckon, you know what, since we've come out of lockdown, I reckon like people are more socially interacting now. I remember when they said literally you can sit outdoors but you can't sit inside the restaurant. You know, when we went through that phase, I saw so many people literally like run out their house, and it's like, you know, it's freedom again. And it's that sense of like, you know, you feel like you're imprisoned, you're just literally locked in. And then once you get that freedom, the only thing you're going to do is go straight out. I mean, I think that's why COVID cases probably rose, do you know what I mean? But I mean, I'm glad I got to see that, because it's like the mental health just gone. Do you know what I mean? There's like, where has that gone now?
Yeah, I suppose it's just important that we just keep the conversation going like we're doing here right now.
Yeah.
I realised before as well, I probably should have said, obviously we're discussing mental health awareness in relation to Mental Health Awareness Month, which is this month of May. Goes without saying that it can be quite upsetting for some people to talk about this type of stuff, so just a bit of like a trigger warning for anyone listening who has endured poor mental health. I think especially for this next segment, we're going to be talking a bit about Bhavin's own personal experiences, which might hit hard for some people. So yeah, just if you are easily affected by this sort of thing, maybe don't turn us off, just turn the volume down, okay? We need the numbers, but just stay on, yeah. But yeah, Bhavin, over to you. Like, do you mind just telling us a little bit about your own sort of experiences with regards to mental health?
Yeah, of course. I mean, like, you know, there's a lot of things. I'd say everyone goes through mental health. You know, it is a fact that, you know, no matter what you go through in life, there's always a factor of mental health that gets involved. I mean, my personal experience is, you know, I was very, very shy to open up to people about what I had to go through in the past. I mean, you know, from having work-related problems, so like, you know, couldn't find a job that I wanted. I was very like stuck in the set that, oh, I want to be a DJ. That's all I wanted to do. You know, luckily for me at the moment, that is what I do, and I can make a full-time career out of it because of the, you know, the clientele, etc. It's taken me years to build. But I remember going through patches whilst I was DJing, and it was like, right, even this isn't helping now. You know, I remember like, you know, going through a bad breakup and, you know, having a lot of issues after. And I remember, you know, going straight to a wedding, and I was doing a wedding, and I introduced a bride and groom. They came down, and then it literally hit hard, because when they're doing their first dance, I'm there thinking, well, I've just had to go through all of this, and now I've got to put a mask on my face because I've got a camera just staring at me, and it's like I'm the main person for, you know, that couple that day, because I've got to control about 500 people on the dance floor.
It's a lot of pressure.
It is, yeah. And I mean, like, I never took time out. And I mean, you know, there's a lot of people in my team that have gone through mental health, and they've taken time out, because it is a lot to deal with, especially in the industry I'm in. It's like very, very much, you got to have a smile on your face if you're going through things tough. Like, literally, it's literally tough love. You got to put a mask on, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, that shouldn't be the way that it is, obviously, but it is when, like, say, when you're in charge of regulating the mood of 500 people, if you're up there and you're looking like really, really sad, that is ultimately going to bring down the mood of 500 people.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So it's a hard position to be in.
It is indeed, and, you know, I mean, there's a lot of factors that also went into it as well. Like, you know, it came to a time when I was actually doing the wedding, and it was kind of like so heartbreaking for me, is that I didn't have a shoulder to just cry on there and then, or take a seat and be like, you know what, I need like 5 minutes to just, you know, go through everything I've just been through in my head mentally. It's like, literally, do your show, you know. And then it came to a point where I had to just announce that, look, your main courses are coming out, and I had to just go into the toilet and have that 5 minutes to myself where, you know, tears came out, or, you know, I had them words with myself. The thoughts came in as well, and I was just thinking, why have I got to go through this? But then it's like, I got to take myself out that selfish perspective. It's not just me who's going through it, it's a lot of other people around me that are going through it. It's like everyone that you see on a daily basis probably goes through it without saying anything. You know, I mean, having mental health, they're not going to have it plastered on their forehead that I've got mental health. Do you know what I mean? It's something that a lot of people keep inside, which I don't see. You know, that is a problem. People bottle up too much, and that's the problem I had. I kept bottling everything up, and, you know, I hold my hands up. I still do bottle things in, because it's just the character I am myself, you know. But what kind of got me out of that whole mindset was the people around me. And I mean, you know, my parents have always said to me, if you surround yourself with negative people, you become a negative factor as a character yourself. So I started, I met new friends. I had a big support network around me. I mean, it's going to sound a bit cheesy, but like my local pub that I go to, bigging up Casbah in Wolverhampton, literally, it's like everyone there were very supportive towards me. They weren't judgmental, or they never had something bad to say to me. It was very much like, look, Bav, take it on the chin. You're going to go through it. We're here to help you. If you need to vent, we're here to talk to you. Do you know what I mean? So I was lucky to have that support network around me, but I kept myself occupied. I never once stayed in bed for about 3 days. Do you know what I mean? Like having the time where I was upset and stuff, it was like literally get up out the house and go straight to work. And because of it being wedding season at the time, it was like, God was on my side there, because he knew that every single week I had a wedding to do.
Yeah. And I mean, that's not to say that, like, there might be people out there who staying in bed for 3 days does work for them. But for you as an individual, that's what you needed to do.
Of course, yeah, from personal experience.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't... If I sit at home, I become depressed, because it's just not the environment or anything. It's just that I'm such a social animal out there. Like, all I want to do is go out, meet different people, network with different people, have conversations with different people. And, being a DJ, that also plays along with it as well. I mean, Guns, I'm not one of them guys who's like go to a wedding and just sit there. Like, yeah. I'm the guy who's gonna literally be like loudmouth. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you literally have a microphone, so you got no excuse.
Yeah, so I got no excuse realistically. I just have to kind of go straight into it. But it's... I mean, going through mental health, personally, I mean, it's about opening up to people. And my parents were always nagging at me, you need to open up. And, then it came to a point where, I'd only open up if I was heavily intoxicated, do you know what I mean, with alcohol,
which is never good,
which is never the right idea,
because then I feel like you kind of want to open up, so then you'll be like, well, what's the way for me to open up? I'll need to get heavily intoxicated, which obviously isn't healthy,
and then it will, that leads to the addictions, that leads to a lot of other causing factors for yourself. So steering away from all of that, that's my personal experience of mental health. And I've seen other people go through mental health who are very close to me as well. And I mean, it's just having that support network personally for myself is what helped me. If I never had the people at my local pub, if I never had my team who I DJ with, if I never had all the lads around me, or even my female friends, then I probably wouldn't be here today. Do you know what I mean? I'd probably be in a lot worse situation, or I probably just would not be here, existing. But I'm thankful for everything that's come my way. I mean, we've achieved a lot.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, anyone that doesn't have, like, go on, shout out your Instagram right now, because you can literally go and look on your Instagram and see how much you're actually doing all the time.
Yeah, I might as well just plug my Instagram there now. So for all you guys listening, so if you do want to follow kind of like the life of a DJ, just at me at DJ Bhavin _M. So we're posting everything anyways. We'll be going live on Instagram when I do a DJ set later as well, so you guys can tune in and send a request in. But it's I'm very busy. I'm thankful for being busy. I mean, we went from being strangers to work colleagues, and it was crazy because working in the radio industry as well itself, it was a big eye-opening factor for myself, because obviously you've got the experience and I never had.
Yeah. So
we just achieved a lot, and it's just about that support network for myself.
Definitely. What would you say then for people out there who, because from what I'm hearing, the way that you were able to bring your mental health back up to a good positive level was through the people around you, through that support network. So what would you say for the people out there who maybe aren't as lucky as you to actually have those people that are willing to be that support network?
I mean, in that situation, there are a lot of people in that circumstance where they don't have the support network, or maybe the friends or the family that they potentially need around them. But hence why they've got the mental health campaigns, that you got Samaritans, etc. For example, I mean, I reached out to Samaritans before, and it was nice to have a conversation with a stranger
Completely
without-
unbiased.
Yeah,
no,
and it's
like,
literally
yeah.
like I could open up and I could say whatever I wanted, open up about anything I wanted without feeling I'm going to get judged by this person because I couldn't see them, they couldn't see me, etc. And it's like, you know, it was a whole different outlook of me opening up then. And even counselling. I mean, there's loads of different counselling options out there. I know sometimes people don't feel comfortable talking to a stranger like that, but if you haven't got the support network around you, for example, your friends or family, then unfortunately that is the only other way. You know?
Yeah, and I think honestly, a lot of the times it is better, because the thing is, whilst it's good to have a support network or of your family or friends, and it's nice to have people that are so close to you being so supportive, at the end of the day, they're always going to have a certain standpoint on situations relating to you because they're obviously so close to you. They're always going to have an opinion. They're always going to have some kind of investment in it. Whereas if you speak to someone who's completely unrelated, this complete stranger in every sense apart from that they know your situation, then they are going to be able to offer a lot more helpful advice, I feel, than someone who has some kind of investment in the situation themselves.
No, 100% agree with you there, and hence why I mentioned, like, you know, it's that helped me the most because it's a complete stranger. I don't know this person doesn't know me, and building that rapport with them, you know, through emails and texts, etc. You know, it did get me through some of the darkest points. But I mean, you know, I'm only 22, so you know, I've probably got a lot more in life to go through yet. But I know how to deal with it because I had to go through it at a young age.
That's the thing. Like, I feel like it is actually, although obviously I wouldn't wish that you had gone through those issues regarding mental health, on the other side of things, it's good that you've experienced it at such a young age and you now sort of have these coping mechanisms and experience to relate back to later on in life should you come across it again. So
no, of course, yeah.
One final thing relating to this. So, you've talking before about people maybe being a bit embarrassed about coming forward, and I'm presuming that you are not necessarily embarrassed because you've chosen to come onto the radio and talk about it. But do you feel like maybe you, as an individual, being like a bit more open and stuff, do you reckon that's had any sort of knock-on effect on your friends around you, or do you reckon people are sort of moving a bit towards being a bit more open, or are people still quite a bit resistant to open up?
I would say they're still quite resistant to opening up, and I just think it's because the awareness and, you know, the whole moral of mental health and, you know, the awareness campaign, etc. It's not getting around enough, personally, I think. But, you know, it's not something that you're going to click your fingers and it's going to happen overnight. It's going to take years. Do you know what I mean? Mental health's been around since probably the, you know, evolution of man.
At the end of the day, it's health, isn't it? Like,
it is, yeah.
You're always in a constant state of some kind of physical health. You always have a certain state of mental health. Like it's always existential. Like, yeah. Definitely.
But I mean, you know, it's like I said, it's not going to change overnight, and it won't change over just 1 year or 1 month. Do you know what I mean? It's something that's, you know, yesterday I got told, you know, mental health awareness is a very taboo topic to talk about because, you know, you hear about things, you see people posting about things about mental health, but then it's like, it's not getting around enough to people. It's like, it's just a post. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit like having a Rolex. You know, you buy a Rolex and people aren't going to stop in the street to say, oh my God, can I have a look at it?
Yeah.
They're just going to walk past you and think, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And I feel like that happens on social media as well, especially like posts and stuff you see.
I think at the end of the day, you have to make a conscious effort to actually engage with and understand your own mental health, and actually, if you need to take certain steps to address it, you need to do that yourself rather than just like read an Instagram post and be like, okay, I'm cured now. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't be seen as something to be cured of, but you know what I mean? Like, oh wow, all my problems are magically solved by reading a post. Like,
I mean, if that was the case, I think we'd all need that guru.
Yeah, pretty pictures. I mean, that's like, obviously it works for some people, but I think you need to sort of look at these posts and then reflect on your own life rather than just read something and be like, okay, cool, I've read that.
Yeah. But then again, like the other question I got told is, does a post change anything?
It depends on the context of the post. I mean, we've talked about this a bit before. I think in terms of if it's raising awareness for an issue, and it's actually an issue that needs to be raised awareness of, then obviously it makes sense. But if it's just sharing it for the sake of it, just jumping on a bandwagon, and you're not actually thinking about what the actual post is, then it's like, well, what's the point?
That's what I think that's happening, is like everyone jumps on that bandwagon where it's like, you know what, someone's reposted this, let me just add it to my story, you know, like with no regards of the actual impacts that it's happening on people in society. But you know, it's one other thing that I noticed is that, you know, like we've had a lot of young Asian men committing suicide in the last, I'd say, in the 6 months, you know, and I've seen that they've posted a selfie of themselves on social media with a long paragraph underneath explaining what they've gone through, why they've chose that path, do you know what I mean, and what steps to take to help if you're going through that same situation or if you're in their position. And I mean, that gets more likes and more follows and more shares than actual general posts about mental health awareness.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's an awareness that if you see this person, please stop them from doing whatever they're gonna be planning to do to themselves.
Yeah, but you wonder how many people are just sharing it for the sake
of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's that topic. It's like, it's going to be like a cycle.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just comes down to individuals. You've just got to keep your head screwed on and just think about things before you post it. Am I posting this just for the sake of it, or am I posting this because I actually want people to see it, or because I care a lot about it? So
yeah.